Case that all of India is talking about, the murder of Raja Raghuvanshi by his own wife, Sonam Raghuvanshi. Sonam and her 4 accomplices, including her boyfriend Raj Kushwaha, were today sent to police custody by a court in Shillong. But the even bigger twist came from Indore, which is their hometown. Raja's mother alleged that Sonam had done black magic on her son and had killed him because of some mismatch in both their horoscopes. Which leads us to ask a basic question: who is propagating these blind superstitions in the 21st century to the extent that somebody would go to kill their own newly wedded husband? It is something that collectively we need to be asking ourselves. And now there is a new fresh twist in this honeymoon homicide saga. This whole black magic charge, which Raja's mother has now leveled on Sonam. Whether or not that's true, we don't know. But she claims that Sonam had apparently cast some kind of a spell on other family members as well. Raja's mother also alleges that Sonam intended to offer a human sacrifice. And it is for that reason that she'd even put up a heavy necklace on Raja's neck after their visit to the Kamakya temple. Raja's mother is also alleging that her son was killed on the 11th day of the lunar month. She claims that both Raja and Sonam had what they call Mangalik Dosh in their horoscope. However, no rituals were performed to undo the same.
सोनम ने कुछ तांत्रिक विद्या करी हो, मतलब इसीलिए उसको वहाँ पे लेके गई हो।
लगता है कि आपका बेटा जो पूरी तरीके से सोनम के बस में हो गया था।
हाँ, वो जैसा सोनम बोलती थी वैसे ही करता था, क्योंकि शादी के पहले तो वो ऐसा नहीं था। जिस दिन से सोनम हमारे घर में आई थी ना, तो उसको वही दिखने लगी थी, सोनम ही सोनम। वो उसके पीछे पीछे भागने लगा था, जैसा वो बोलती थी वैसे ही करने लगा था।
ऐसा लगता है घर वालों ने कुछ खिला उला भी दिया हो, कुछ ऐसा कर दिया हो, तंत्र क्रिया कर दिया हो कि पूरी तरीके से सोनम के बस में चला गया?
खिलाने का तो नहीं कह सकती हूँ, मगर है ना कुछ न कुछ तो मतलब उसके ऊपर कर रखा था उनने। मांगलिक दोष दोनों का था, इसका उच्च मंगल था और इसका मतलब वो मानसिक मंगल था।
Now, whether or not there is any truth to this black magic angle and whether this will be probed by the police, we don't know. But the evidence seems to be piling up against Sonam, and the evidence cannot be overlooked. Number one, she remained in touch with Raj through Indore all the way to Meghalaya, then from Meghalaya when she escaped to Guwahati and then came back to Indore. All through this time, there is WhatsApp and other communication, electronic communication between Sonam and Raj. She even shared her live location to him. This was in an apparent bid to try and help the killers who were hired by Raj to carry out the murder. Sonam even spoke to the killers after the murder about 10 kilometers away from the crime spot. If she had no idea who these people were, there was no acquaintance between them, why was she talking to them 10 kilometers away from the murder spot? Why was she, also Shillong police sources asking, these pictures that were posted from Raja's social media account late in the night at 2:15 a.m. after his murder. And the only 2 people who had access to his social media accounts, to his phone, were his wife Sonam and Raja himself. Of course, he was dead by 2:15 in the morning. Some social media posts were that early in the morning. So did Sonam have access to Raja's phone, and did she post just to mislead the cops? Also, Sonam's blood-soaked raincoat, that further cements the fact that Sonam was present at the crime spot. Following the murder, Sonam also met Raj in Indore, stayed at a rented place, and then she allegedly staged her surrender that happened in Ghazipur in Uttar Pradesh earlier this week. The last straw for Sonam was the fact that she planned the entire trip, but curiously, she booked only one-way tickets. Why was that? But the twists in the tale do not just end here. Sonam's family has now distanced themselves from her. They've completely rejected the boyfriend angle. In fact, there was this dramatic scene where her brother landed up at Raja's residence today, and there was some kind of reconciliation between him and Raja's family members. Take a look at those pictures and judge for yourself.
मेरी बात ही हुई, 2 मिनट की बात हुई थी, उसमें उसने कोई भी चीज़ें हाँ नहीं करी है, मगर मैं चीज़ें बयां करता हूं कि पूरी 100% गलती उसी की होगी और उसको बिल्कुल सजा हम दिलवाएंगे। मैं खुद दिलवाऊंगा। राज सिर्फ हमारे यहाँ एक एम्प्लॉई था, उसकी भूमिका सिर्फ एम्प्लॉई वाली थी, मुझे कोई भी आइडिया नहीं है इस चीज़ों का।
Those were dramatic scenes earlier this afternoon with Sonam's brother appearing at Raj's house. Sonam appears to be finally cracking under the face of intense questioning by the police after initial statement that she was not an accused but a victim who was abducted and left in Ghazipur. She's now made a complete U-turn. Police sources say that in her statement to the police, and they will record this before a magistrate as well tomorrow or day after, they claim, has allegedly confessed to a crime. She's accepted the plot to kill her husband and admitted to Raja's murder. I want to go across to Lalita Kumaramangalam, who's a former chairperson of the National Commission for Women. Also, Vikram Singh, former DGP of Uttar Pradesh, is joining us. Ma'am, let me start with you first. You know, this is a completely vile, depraved case where a newly wedded wife, you know, their marriage is barely 15 days old, conspires, plots with 4 other people to kill her husband, and does it in the most violent form and fashion, and then orchestrates this whole surrender drama. I mean, this is what the police's version is. This is what the police are saying. Of course, they have to prove this in a court of law. But if this is true, even if there is an iota of truth in the police version, what does that say about the mind of this woman?
Zaka, unfortunately, too many of us are brought up on the rigor, I wouldn't say rigors, on what we see on social media. All of whatever may be said and done, murder is murder. No human being has the right to take the life of another. Full stop. Now, if she didn't want to marry this chap, obviously this person is not exactly helpless or clueless. If she could travel all the way from Madhya Pradesh to Meghalaya, commit the murder or get other people to commit the murder, pay those people a hefty amount to commit it, and then come back, run away to Guwahati, etc., etc. She's no little doodh ka dhula, as we say in Hindi. Now, having said this, even if she was a very innocent, put upon, etc., etc., a girl who was forced to marry somebody, she had no business to murder him. Murder is a crime, full stop. And having done it, if it's proven that she has done it, which it seems to look like increasingly, then she has to be punished as per the law. Having said that, let me come back to what is perhaps a bigger problem. Why are girls forced to marry when they don't want to? I'm not saying that this is what happened to this person and that's why she's done it and that's why she's okay and all of that. No, I don't believe murder can ever be given any sort of sanction, any sort of social, familial, legal, whatever. But we do have a problem where, maybe I sound very cynical here, where marriage is almost built up like a fantasy, that shadi is the end goal of every woman's life, every young man's life. Everybody should get married. You must have a family. I agree, family is very important. And if we are lucky enough to be part of a happy, united, good family, I mean, good meaning happy, I don't mean good, bad in that sense, then yes, family is very important. But in today's day and age, parents, relations, etc., should understand that young people have a very definite mind of their own. They may not always be thinking what may be right according to others.
Okay.
But if you try to put too much pressure on an individual and say, no, you have to do this, it's very unfortunate that there are also people like this person, Sonam, who has reacted in such a horrible, inhuman way. Not everybody is going to murder their husband because they're forced to marry them.
You know, I do get where you're coming from, and I want to ask Vikram Singh this. There have been numerous instances where people have been forced to get married, and usually it's the woman. You know, whether it's societal pressure, parental pressure, peer pressure, whatever it is. But in this day and age, Vikram Singh, you know, in this instance itself, for example, if she didn't want to marry this person for whatever reason, either she could have called it off. Of course, there would be a backlash from her family and friends and whatever social circle. She could have got the guy to say that he's calling it off to try and take the heat away from her. She could have run away. I mean, you know, cases of eloping, I'm sure you've seen dime a dozen in your long career as a policeman. The point is,
butting in,
yeah.
The boy's mother said she was totally in control of the boy. She could have got him to sign a divorce paper.
Exactly. There are any number of things that could have been done. You know, not committing murder. So the question then, Vikram Singh, is how does one, if at all, you know, like I said, the cops still have to prove this case in a court of law beyond reasonable doubt. But how does one give the benefit of the doubt to a person, even if she was feeling, you know, stifled in this marriage and didn't want to get married and so on and so forth? Because death is not the option here. There's a whole range of things she could have done.
Very good question, Zaka. And I feel that there are multiple theories that are going around. One theory is that she wanted to get married to this boy, Raj. And to get married to Raj, perhaps the family would never have allowed, because he was a low-paid employee of Sonam's father's company. Now, probably they had the two minds met and they said probably this is just in the realm of a conjecture as it's going, that she probably thought that the only way to get married and have pots of money and the fear of being thrown out of the family also is to get the money. So she compelled her late husband to put on all the jewelry. She carried all the jewelry, which is very, very unusual for a newly married couple to carry all the jewelry to a honeymoon. Then, if she were to do the husband to death, then there's a possibility of a widow remarriage. And then, as a social reforms, or perhaps something very revolutionary in the central part of India, which is something very unusual, perhaps as a widow remarriage, this boy Raj could have come up as a hero that he was willing to marry a widow. Therefore, I would say that there is merit in what they say. And now, the moment one person becomes an approver, and I'm sure one person would become an approver, that will go and understand what the wiring of the mind of Sonam and Raj are. Because the telephonic intercepts and also the conversations and the threads of WhatsApp and Snapchat would be indicative of the fact in which direction the wind was blowing in their romance. If at all there was a romance.
Lalita ji, you know, what is again quite intriguing is, I'm sure you've seen the dramatic pictures of the brother landing up at the residence of Raja Raghuvanshi today, and he hugged the mother who's just lost her child. And he completely disassociated the rest of the family from Sonam, saying, you know, we have nothing to do with her. We never thought that she would do something like this. That Raj and Sonam were like brother and sisters. You know, she used to tie Rakhi for him during every Raksha Bandhan, etc., etc. I mean, is there no way the family knew anything about this, and this was orchestrated, by just Sonam and her alleged boyfriend Raj Kushwaha? How can a family be like that?
Probably orchestrated by Sonam and her lover, boyfriend, brother, whatever they want to call him. And the family underestimated the daughter's capacity for doing something as inhuman and as bad as this. So they probably want to distance themselves from it because they know that they will face an enormous amount of not just social approbation, but if they're dragged into the legal what is going to start the legal proceedings, they will be in a very, very tight spot. It is possible they did not know. But the family also should, maybe other families should learn from this and understand that in today's day and age, information is available so freely, good, bad, indifferent, whatever. It's just available on the net. You can click on the click of a button, you can get to know everything you want to do or know. Families should understand that we are now living in an age where people are very often tipped over the edge into doing something that nobody should think of doing because of what is fed to them. It's an incessant, unstoppable, terrible, terrible thing that social media is. I really think that, and most of the time, humans, I don't know what's happened to us, humans today, we love to watch all of what we should not be watching. We don't want to watch the good things. We want to watch what murder is, all the darker aspects of life. Let me put it that way.
Okay.
So the family, to me, sounds a bit too. I think they just want to escape from getting into trouble in this case. But it is possible. Let's try and give the benefit of the doubt to them that they didn't know that she would go to this extent.
Let me give Vikram Singh the final word. One of the things the cops are claiming, they have not released this yet. Maybe they will submit this to court. They are saying that they have CCTV footage which shows Sonam on the day of the murder, right after the murder, meeting with these three accomplices who were hired by her boyfriend and who she seemingly had nothing to do with, meeting them 10 kilometers away from the murder spot and speaking to them. If indeed this CCTV footage is available and they make it available, then it really sort of puts all the loose ends together. It shows that Sonam knew these three people. It was not some random conversation that she was having with strangers on the road. She knew these people. They were conversing with each other, and the links get established. Do you think this case rests on that, or is there any further corroborative evidence you believe that can be brought to the fore to show that, yes, all five of them were involved in this conspiracy to kill Raja Raghuvanshi?
Very much, Zaka. This is absolutely incontrovertible and unflinching evidence that is most corroborative. But there is other evidence also, that is the conversation and also the electronic evidence about the movement of these three, the conversation between Sonam and Raj and the other three. This also is incontrovertible and a very conclusive evidence. The money trail, the payment of 15,000 rupees also is conclusive. And apart from the fact, there is extrajudicial confession. And I think the evidence is so overwhelming and strong. Meghalaya police has a very strong case against all of them.
All right, Vikram Singh, Lalita Kumarmangalam, we'll leave it at that. We'll see how this story plays out. It's quite mind-boggling that someone could go to this extent to kill her own husband, and that too within days of getting married to each other.